Hey, what's up guys? Gons here with this week's word of encouragement. It comes from 2 Corinthians 12 verses 9 and 10. Here's what it says. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. This passage is particularly encouraging to me because this is the part where Paul talks about how there have been great revelations for him, but there have also been a thorn in his side, which was a messenger of Satan to harass him. And he talks about how he has that to keep him from being conceited. And even though he pleaded with the Lord 3 times that this thorn in the side would disappear, the Lord kept it there. And he told him that my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. This is a really upside down concept because grace is the favor and love of God in action. It means that he loves us and he's actually pleased by us. And this is Jesus's grace. And if we think about it, isn't his love and his grace, isn't that enough? The thing that we have to realize is that God's grace is sufficient for us now, at this very moment. The way sufficient is worded in this sentence, it's got no boundaries, it's got no limits. And therefore, God, through Jesus Christ, his grace is limitlessly sufficient for us. And we have to realize that. And then for my power is made perfect in weakness. Again, this is sort of an upside down concept, but if we think about it, it is in our weakness where God's strength is found. This is where God works. And there's 2 ways that a burden can be taken away. One is by removing the load, or the thorn in the side in this case, or by strengthening the shoulder bearing the load. Now in this case, God is saying, in your weakness, I make you strong. And it is through the sufficiency of his grace that we are actually, in our weakness, we are given God's strength. See, God doesn't take away the affliction. He actually says, no, you are going to be made strong in that burden. So again, it's this opposite effect. And I think this is important to think about as we go through life and as the end times unfold before us, because our attitude is going to really affect how we respond to the world that's going to hell in a handbasket, literally. And verse 10, for the sake of Christ then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecution, and calamity. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Again, this idea that we are content. Paul here is content, and we should be too, with our weaknesses, with insults thrown at us, with our hardships, with our persecutions, even our calamities, because it is in those times of weakness that God's grace is sufficient for us and we find strength. So again, as the end times unfold, the Christians, especially the ones that are disciples of Christ and really follow the word, we're going to be seen as weak. We're going to be insulted. It's already happening. We will fall upon hardships. We're going to be persecuted. There's going to be calamities for the church. And again, we're already seeing that. And I think when you talk about transhumanism and the evolution of technology, I think there's going to be even more of this going on because effectively there's going to be a new race of beings, in my opinion, at least, of where things are headed, that is going to come about, and those who don't partake in this new thing is going to be seen as weak. But it is in that worldly weakness that God, through his sufficient grace for us, we find strength. And ultimately, this is what's pleasing to God. So hopefully this encourages you this week. Think about your weaknesses. Think about the things that afflict you. And instead of asking God to necessarily take it away, pray to him and ask him to give you strength. But at the same time, realize that his grace is actually sufficient for us because it is in his power that we are made perfect in this weakness. So, hope you guys have a great week. God bless.